Ascension messages. More on tools: transformation, fear, and ego, Earth's problems. Greetings. Together we are all creators, creators of all things, we are all the miracles and all the wonder, we are source of all things expressed through the infinite experience of contrast. We are the contrast. We are the integration of this contrast. We are the creator of all that is. We are infinite love. We are infinite light. We are one with all things. We are one with the universe. We are one with the Creator. We are the Creator, there is no separation, there never has been, there never will be. There is no separation between love and fear, they are one and the same thing, merely polarized in their expression. They are of the same continuum, simply on opposite limbs. Here in this universe of duality they depend on each other. They simply could not exist without each other, they are inexorably linked, each one woven and intertwined into the facet of the other. Together they exist, priceless gifts to each other. It is in this very nature of duality, the stage is set to express and experience the greatest gift of all, the choosing of the love of self. This is integration. In the temporary absence of love, fear can exist. In the expression of love, fear cannot exist. There is no opposite of love, there is only opposition. The grand beings of darkness that we have spoken of seek the same truth. They are not separate from us, they only exist as a contrast of self. Collectively we have manifested their presence in our outer world as a reflection or an echo of our inner world. This is why they are here now, we have collectively manifested them, and together on the frequency of love, we can integrate our unique versions of fear back into the divine infinite love of all that is. As a human species we have created compartmentalization of our consciousness into subcompartments. It is within these subcompartments that we have managed to tuck away portions from such experiences, that we were unable at those times to fully integrate into our awareness. These portions of those experiences that have not been integrated are stored emotionally within our body's energy matrix. These emotions are held energetically and their vibration is a collective of these frequencies, forming our personal vibrational frequency, placing us on the aforementioned frequency-mapped timeline. The outcome of which is predictable and therefore can be considered as deterministic. Remember, there are infinite timelines, therefore, infinite possibilities. This is where we have free will. We are our frequency. When we release these trapped emotions by simply integrating them into our awareness, we raise our personal vibrational frequency that is added together on a group conscious level. You can see the simplicity of this integration process. As you raise your personal vibrational frequency, you are aiding the elevation of the mass conscious frequency. By not integrating the trapped emotional experiences, you lock yourself into a perpetuating looped linear time of yourself. In other words, your logical rational mind has moved on, and your perceptual awareness gives you the impression that you are moving forward in your own unique artificially constructed time. However, relatively speaking, your trapped emotions are still in your perceived past and are creating your vibrational frequency. Remember, your conscious mind represents less than 3 to 5% of your consciousness, the remaining 95 to 97% of your consciousness are in these subcompartments that you are mainly unaware of. The gatekeeper, so to speak, of these subcompartments is your ego. Your ego is the part of you that is fear. Remember, in the absence of love, fear can manifest. To place a personality upon your ego, imagine every fear you have possibly experienced in your life thus far, collectively place them all together, and this is the personality of your ego. With the veil of forgetfulness during these biological incarnations, the connection to all that is seems disconnected. This then creates within the perceptual awareness of the incarnated soul, the unknown. Your ego is attempting to protect you from this unknown. In 3D the ego thinks it is in charge. Your ego is very protective on your behalf, and will edit your awareness in your conscious rational mind, and in many instances, it will delete or deny what you are experiencing because of your inability in the past to integrate your self-created experiences. To be human in 3D we have two minds, two brains, left and right hemisphere, and they are in constant conflict with each other. The left brain is the logical rational mind, 3 to 5% of your consciousness. The right brain, where the gatekeeper of this is the ego, is the remaining 95 to 97% of your consciousness that has incarnated into your present physical form. Neither of these two minds are who you really are. Your consciousness does not reside in either of your brains. Your soul's conscious attention works through you, through your heart, through your DNA. Your authentic self is not this experience. However, your authentic self grows through integrating these experiences. It is in 5D that you not only know this, you are this experience. You also know very clearly that you create all of your experiences with thought. In 5D we only have one brain, one mind, so there is not the conflict of two minds and two brains in conflict, as there is in 3D. We have shared over and over again and will continue to do so the simplicity of what is now required. If you are determined with commitment and desire to move forward into a new elevated conscious awareness, then integrate your fear and choose again. Again we will focus on the times that you are not experiencing unconditional love through integration. When you are triggered, or in your stuff, and we love this earthly terminology, your ego is in charge. The ego thinks its job description is to protect you from what you have previously not accepted or integrated, because you find yourself again in a situation that is a match for the same low frequencies that you have previously experienced but not integrated. The ego, on your behalf, and without informing you, will jump in and take over the situation. You are now living unconsciously. Your conscious input has been superseded by your emotional attachments to these past experiences, and your ego has projected into the future next now moment that you are about to experience these same feelings. You will now experience fear. In reality, the ego cannot protect you from emotions that you have not integrated, so in actuality, the ego is attempting to deny you from re-experiencing the same experiences. However, armed only with the polarized opposition to love, the fear of the unknown. The ego is part and parcel of the 3D experience. Indeed, even in 5D there is still an echo of an ego, however it does not rule conscious perception. It is a friend, an essential part of duality that provides contrast. In 3D, especially manipulated with the dense soup of dissonant lunar frequencies, the ego desperately tries to protect you, and we must bless the ego for its courage. You are your ego as well as your authentic self. We have found it very useful to name the ego. Some use their given middle name if they have one. Others use names from their childhood stories, for example, Tinkerbell, Rupert Bear, Aladdin, Peter Pan, and Cinderella, just to name a few. Use an endearing loving name. See and feel your ego as a little child that you are trying to awake gently from a nightmare. You would not be angry with a child having a nightmare, when you are awakening them to reassure them that everything is okay. You would use a gentle voice with love and compassion. You hug and hold that child and tell them that everything is okay. This is exactly what we are doing when we use the 4 tools of integration. 1. We recognize that we are being triggered. So here we simply become aware that the ego has stepped in and is doing its best to protect you from something. No action is required here. You are simply recognizing or acknowledging that something is going on. 2. Validate. What you are doing here is gently and lovingly telling the sleeping child, or ego, that everything is okay. Include yourself into these sentiments. Use your ego's name and say, "It is okay for us to feel this way." Reassure the sleeping child, i.e. your ego, over and over again, by validating whatever you are feeling. It is not necessary to put a name to the feeling. It is okay for us to feel this way, because up until this moment, it has not been safe to feel these feelings. That is why they have not been integrated. 3. Feel the feelings. Healing or processing is integration. Feeling the feelings is integration. Your head, both minds, may want to put a story around what you are feeling, however this is not important and would often be a distraction. The ego is very slippery and would welcome any distraction. Distractions create perfect avoidance mechanisms for the ego. The ego may be a child, but it is very clever, very slippery, having spent a lifetime protecting you from your feelings, and just because you now suddenly announce that you are now taking over this task, the ego may not want to give up and lose control over your emotions. However, With gentle validation, it will start feeling safer, and up will come the emotions.
Let the sound out. It may be anger vented as frustrations, or resentment, or self-pity, the feelings of loss of love, or not being good enough, not being heard. Allow the sound out.
Allow the tears, allow whatever wants to surface or come up. You may shout, scream, sob or cry, just allow the sound out.
The sound is a vibration, these are the trapped emotions.
Allow this process to continue until there are no more tears and no more sound. You will feel exhausted. This may not happen the first time. Be patient with yourself, be patient with that sleeping child awakening from that nightmare. It will happen.
4.
Choose again.
You now have a choice of how you want to proceed forward with a more uplifted reality.
This is where you can imprint into these previously hidden compartments the new version of yourself. As an example, hold the highest idea of who you think you are in that now moment of choosing again. How would that version of yourself respond?
This is what you are now imprinting into your subconscious greater mind, who you want to be.
Your ego is still the gatekeeper of this vast mind, and with repetition as with a child, you have given your ego a new mandate. This is what is termed doing your shadow work. Nobody else can do it for you, only you can integrate these hidden aspects of self.
This is Ascension.
This is how you hold a higher vibrational frequency.
This is how you jump timelines.
This is how you manifest 5D frequency. 5. The next tool of transformation we have shared with you over and over again.
Thoughts create.
Hold the highest idea of a 5D earth in your mind.
Create the greatest story around this idea. This is 5D.
Tawana, Tawa, adventure with joy, with all its multiple meanings.